our amazing listeners. Welcome back to It's Story Time Kids, the podcast where incredible adventures come alive in your imagination. Are you ready for today's magical journey? We're flying high into the pink city of Jaipur, where kites dance in the sky like colorful butterflies. Today's story is called Arjun's Magnificent Kite, and it's about a boy who discovers that sometimes having everything isn't quite enough. Before we soar into our adventure, remember, you can see beautiful illustrations of this story and read along at onceuponastorytime.in. That's onceuponastorytime.in. Now close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's fly. Picture this. The morning sun is painting the ancient walls of Jaipur in shades of pink and gold. Can you hear it? Those are the sounds of hundreds of kites already dancing in the sky. 9-year-old Arjun pressed his nose against the cool window glass, leaving a little foggy circle. His dark eyes followed every colorful kite that swooped and soared above the narrow streets below.
Look at them all, Dadi.
He sighed, and you could hear his heart breaking just a little.
Everyone has such beautiful kites. Vikram's has golden ribbons that sparkle in the sun. Ravi's makes a whistling sound when it flies. And me? I have nothing.
His grandmother, everyone called her Dadi, set down her sewing and patted the spot beside her. The old wooden floor creaked as Arjun shuffled over and plopped down. "Beta," she said, in that warm, honey-like voice that grandmothers have. "Let me ask you something. What makes a kite fly? Is it the decorations? Or is it how it's built?" Arjun squeezed his eyes tight, thinking hard. You know that look? When you're trying to solve a really tricky math problem? That's exactly how he looked.
I think it's how it's built, Dadi.
Dadi's eyes twinkled like stars. "Now you're thinking like a true kite master. Come, let me teach you what my grandfather taught me. Secrets passed down for generations." For the next 7 days, something magical happened in that small house. Dadi became Arjun's guide into the ancient science of kite-making. "Feel this bamboo," she'd say, bending a thin stick until it curved like a rainbow. "See how it bends but doesn't break? That's what we want. Strength with flexibility." She taught him how different weights of paper catch the wind differently. Too heavy, and your kite drops like a stone. Too light, and it tears at the first strong gust. "The secret," Dadi whispered one afternoon, "is in finding the perfect balance point. When you get it right, your kite doesn't just fly, it dances." Meanwhile, outside, Vikram's voice carried over the rooftops.
Hey, Arjun. What's taking you so long? I've already won 3 kite battles today. My kite is the champion of our street.
Arjun's cheeks burned hot with embarrassment, but Dadi's gentle hand on his shoulder felt like a cool breeze. "Beta," she said softly, "there's a big difference between being ready and being in a hurry. Which would you rather be?" Arjun took a deep breath.
Ready, Dadi. I want to be ready.
Finally, after days of careful work, Arjun's kite was complete. And oh, what a kite it was. The paper wasn't just blue, it was the deep, mysterious blue of the ocean at twilight. When the light hit it just right, it seemed to shimmer and shift like water. Arjun had painted golden birds along the edges, and they looked so real. You'd swear they might fly right off the paper.
It's not just beautiful, Dadi.
Arjun whispered, holding it up to the window.
It feels alive, like it's breathing.
The next day was practice day, and the whole neighbourhood gathered on the rooftops. The air buzzed with excitement, Mimat. You could almost taste it. like the sweetness before a monsoon rain. Arjun climbed to his roof, his heart drumming thump 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 in his chest. He released his kite into the wind and something extraordinary happened. Arjun's kite didn't just fly, it soared. It danced and spun, diving and climbing as if it had a mind of its own. When Arjun tugged the string left, it swooped left. When he pulled right, it spiraled right. It was like the kite and the boy were having a conversation in the language of wind and string.
Arjun, bye!
Vikram shouted from below, his own fancy kite forgotten.
How are you doing that? Your kite! It's like magic!
Soon children from all over the neighbourhood gathered below Arjun's roof. His kite defeated opponent after opponent, cutting their strings with graceful precision. But something even more wonderful began to happen. "Can you teach me that turning technique?" asked a girl. "Please show me how to read the wind," begged a boy from the next street. "I'll pay you to give me lessons," offered another. Within days, Arjun had become the neighborhood's kite guru. Children flocked to him for lessons, and he discovered something amazing. He loved teaching.
You know what the best part is?
He told his little sister Meera one evening as they counted his earnings.
It's not the money, though 200 rupees is more than I've ever had. It's when I teach someone something difficult and suddenly their face just lights up like they've discovered buried treasure.
Meera smiled at her brother. "You're different now, Bhaiya. Happier. It's like you're glowing from the inside." And she was right. Arjun had found his place in the world. He was respected, successful, and most importantly, truly happy. But then, the news spread through the streets like wildfire. Sher Khan was coming. Now you need to understand, Sher Khan wasn't just any kite fighter. He was a legend. For 15 years, his black and silver kite had ruled the skies of Old Delhi. They said his kite strings were blessed by the wind gods themselves. They said he could cut through 3 kites with a single swoop. They said he had never lost a battle.
I have to face him.
Arjun declared at dinner, his rice untouched on his plate. His father looked up, concerned.
But why, beta? You're already successful. You have students, respect, money.
Because
Arjun struggled to find the words.
Because if I don't try to beat the best, everyone will think I'm not really good. They'll think I'm scared.
Dadi's spoon clinked against her bowl as she set it down. Her wise old eyes grew serious. "Arjun, my child, I need you to think carefully. Are you flying for yourself or for what others might think?" That night, Arjun tossed and turned in his bed. The ceiling fan squeaked overhead. But all he could hear were imaginary crowds cheering. Arjun, the boy who defeated Sher Khan, the greatest kite fighter in all of India. The next morning, Arjun made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. He marched straight up to where Sher Khan was preparing his legendary kite. The man was tall and weathered, with a grey beard that made him look like an ancient warrior.
I challenge you
Arjun announced, his voice shaking just a little.
to a winner-takes-all battle. I'll bet everything, my kite, my reputation, and all my earnings.
The crowd gasped. Even Sher Khan's bushy eyebrows shot up in surprise.
Boy,
He said in a voice like distant thunder.
you've built something good here. Why risk it all?
Because I want to be the best.
Arjun replied. But even as the words left his mouth, something felt wrong, like wearing a shirt that's too tight. Meera grabbed his arm, her eyes wide with worry.
Bhaiya, you already are good. Why isn't that enough?
Because
Arjun's voice cracked.
good isn't the same as greatest.
The battle drew hundreds of spectators. The entire neighborhood climbed onto rooftops, walls, and trees. The air crackled with excitement. Arjun's beautiful blue kite rose into the crystal clear sky, those golden birds seeming to come alive in the sunlight. But for the first time ever, his hands were trembling. You see, he wasn't flying for joy anymore. He wasn't flying to teach or to share. He was flying to prove something. And that changed everything.
Careful, beta,
Dadi called from below.
remember, when we fight to show off, we forget to fly smart.
But Arjun couldn't hear her over the pounding of his own heart. He pulled his string aggressively, trying to end the battle quickly. He wanted to win big, win fast, win in a way that everyone would remember forever. And that's when he made the mistake that changed everything. In his desperation, Arjun flew too close to a sharp building edge. His string caught on a metal rod sticking out from the roof and snap. The string broke. Time seemed to slow down as Arjun watched his magnificent kite tumble from the sky. It spiraled down, 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 until it landed in the busy street below, where it was immediately trampled by cars and rickshaws. The crowd fell silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Arjun had lost everything. His kite, his money, his reputation. But worst of all, he'd lost the quiet confidence that had made him such a good teacher. That evening, Arjun sat alone on the rooftop. The sky was painting itself purple and orange, but he didn't see its beauty. All he could see was his kite falling. 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 The roof door creaked open. Soft footsteps approached. Dadi sat down beside him, and for a long moment they just breathed together. Finally, Arjun whispered,
Dadi, I don't understand myself. I had everything I wanted. I was happy. So why? Why did I throw it all away?
Dadi nodded slowly, like she'd been waiting for this question her whole life.
Beta, what you've learned today is one of life's hardest lessons. Sometimes, when we have something good, something really, truly good, a sneaky little voice whispers in our ear. You know what it says?
Arjun shook his head.
It says, but what if you could have something even better? And that voice, my dear child, makes us forget how blessed we already are.
But Dadi,
Arjun protested.
I thought I was being brave. I thought I was being ambitious.
Ah,
Dadi smiled sadly.
and there's the trick. You see, there's a big difference between ambition and greed. Ambition builds on what you have. It says, I am good, and I can become even better by learning and growing. But greed risks what you have. It says, what I have isn't enough. I need to have everything.
Arjun closed his eyes and really thought about this.
So, ambition would have been learning from Sher Khan? Maybe asking him to teach me?
Exactly. Or teaching more children, or inventing new techniques. You were already growing, beta. But that steady growth didn't feel exciting enough, did it?
Arjun shook his head, tears stinging his eyes. But here's the beautiful thing about life. Sometimes, when we think we've lost everything, we discover what really matters. The next morning, Arjun woke to voices outside his door. He opened it to find Vikram, Ravi, Priya, and at least 10 other children standing there with bamboo sticks and colorful paper.
We heard what happened.
Vikram said, and his voice was kind, so different from his old boasting.
But you know what? You taught us something more important than winning.
You taught us how to really fly, added Priya. And how to teach others, said Ravi. That's worth more than any competition. Arjun's eyes filled with tears. But this time they were happy tears. Together they spent the whole day making kites. And as they worked, measuring, cutting, balancing, painting, Arjun felt something bubble up inside him. It was joy. The same pure, simple joy he'd felt when Dadi first taught him.
You know what I learned?
Arjun said as they all flew their kites at sunset. The sky was filled with their creations, not competing, just dancing together.
I thought I wanted to be the greatest kite fighter in all of India. But what I really wanted was to feel important and happy. And you know what? I already had that.
Dadi, watching from below, smiled her knowing smile.
And now?
She called up.
Now I know the difference between wanting more and wanting better.
Arjun shouted back, laughing.
More would be beating everyone. Better is helping everyone fly.
From that day forward, Arjun continued making and flying kites. He became known not as the boy who beat Sher Khan, but as the boy who could teach anyone to touch the sky. And that, he discovered, was a much better thing to be known for. But he never forgot the most important lesson. True success isn't about having more than others. It's about appreciating what you have and sharing it generously. Because when you help others soar, you fly highest of all. And that, my wonderful listeners, is the story of Arjun and his magnificent kite. Sometimes we all hear that sneaky voice saying more, more, more. But real happiness? That comes from being grateful for what we have and sharing our gifts with others. This story has been brought to you by Once Upon a Story Time, where every tale teaches us something special about life. Remember, you can see beautiful illustrations of Arjun's adventure and read along at onceuponastorytime.in. Until next time, keep your hearts light, your dreams high, and your stories close. This is It's Story Time, kids, saying, fly high, dream big, but always remember to help others soar too.